spawning in the bottom right of Berlingrad. It is our red Zerg player playing for Good Game Gaming. This is Rattata.
His opponent in the blue from Germany, playing for Team Sentex. It's GunGFuBanDa. Only 24 years old, and Rattata is only 20 years old. I feel like a grandpa.
I was going to say, that makes me feel like an old person as well. I turned 33 on Monday, and like the thought that these people are 10 years younger than me just like floors me. But oh my gosh, this is double Gateway Forge all on a Proxied? This is amazing. I love it.
Didn't realize Rattata wrote in the lobby, please don't cheese me. It's nice seeing the Gateway eyes in the game. GunGFuBanDa really going for it. I was like talking about how, you know, like you have to harass, you have to not let the opponent build up his drone count and stuff. Don't let a Zerg rush to that many drones. And GunGFuBanDa apparently does not even want to let Rattata take an expansion at all. This is insane.
Yeah, I mean, usually you see one or the other, right? You see the early Forge, and you'll get cannons. Sure, that's fine. Usually you'll see like a proxy 1 or 2 gate. That like also is reasonable, but both gives me just like the weirdest vibe here. That says that GunGFuBanDa is definitely not invested in seeing like the 5 or 6 minute mark of this game, if at all possible. But Rattata he's kind of on the ball with this. He's going to be able to get 6 lings out right away. The first pylon is going to immediately get knocked down. So the fact that this pylon or this cannon is able to get down is going to be kind of a moot point. There's nothing powering it, and the probe has been killed off so far.
Yeah, this is terrible. He needed to restart the pylon ideally, because then the Zealots could have covered it. But now, the fact that his cannon won't be able to attack, he didn't send a backup probe. GunGFu, I think this is just game here. I don't know how he wins this from there.
Oh, especially now with
Oh yeah, and then the Queen gets there. That cannon, not long for this game. Absolute disaster.
Yeah, this has gone from bad to absolute worst here for GunGFuBanDa. He does still have the proxy available and is going to continue pumping out Zealots, but I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot really to push into. There's a spine crawler here. The Queen's going to start pushing things away, although she shouldn't wander too far off of the creep. But for all intents and purposes, I think Rattata's got the hold here.
Yeah, it seems like he just read perfectly into this, made the links early enough, and I love the prioritization from there, you know, like didn't necessarily make any mistakes. He got the spine crawler, which is going to help with the defense on the other side when the Zealots step in. And on the other side, he's not overextending for now, you see? Like, he's not running inside of that probe line, because he wouldn't kill much. He would lose off all of his links. So instead, it's just keeping them there. They can basically just keep on being active. Maybe prevent entirely that second gas from GunGFuBanDa. He's actually recalling 3 Zealots. Did he forget the one on purpose here?
Yeah, it might have been enough just to be able to protect this pylon, because I think right now that's where a majority of GunGFuBanDa's aggression kind of lies, is making sure that these 2 gateways stay powered, because if they go down, there's absolutely 0 production here for GunGFu. He is going to try and get to a second base. It is going to get scouted, but...
Banelings?
Oh gosh, yeah, Banelings are going to be able to morph here in the top right of the map. That's incredible patience here, but I think it really should just go before these Zealots find their way in. But good coverage here by GunGFu is going to be able to prevent a majority of the damage for right now, but flooding Lings is going to make it much more difficult.
Yeah, he's going to get on top of this cannon, ideally, or he can just get the safe cancel on the Expo. I think that might be the better choice. He probably thought about it. He's like, okay, well, there's a chance he defends that really well with probes plus the cannon. So instead, he can get an easy cancel. He's going to be able to get those gateways out on the map eventually once Zealot got caught there. And it seems like for GunGFu to defend this against that many links now is borderline impossible. Probes are going to start falling left and right. And yeah, just a great defense here from Rattata this whole game.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful done by the Zerg player. GG's called, and Rattata up 1-0 with a really good defensive hold.
As far as sassy nicknames go, by the way, that has to be one of the best ones. Rattata.
See, I always
come up with this one.
See, I always think of Pokemon, because that's one of the Pokemon from the first generation. And that's why I call it Rattata, because I think that's the pronunciation, at least from that. But yeah, there's like all sorts of connotations, like Rattata. Yeah, it's good. It's very versatile.
You're a music guy, so I knew like you might appreciate that nickname in that sense. Yeah. But yeah, actually, he changed nickname a while back. That was pretty surprising. I remember like Rotty talking about it and being like, okay, like why would you update to like Rattata? Was the story there? It was formerly known as Vanya. It's also a pretty cool nickname.
It's true. It's true. Game number 2 is going to go to Hardwire here. I don't know. I feel like if the Protoss player gets shut down as hard as he did on his initial kind of cheeky play, it would be very bold to try that again in game number 2. But I wouldn't put it past him. Do you think we're going to see the 5-minute mark of this game, Todd?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think GunGFu is going to do any type of similar build. This, to me, seems like perhaps they met on ladder recently. Like, you never know what might have happened between them on ladder. And maybe Rattata played a little too greedy. And then GunGFu was like, all right, you want to play that greedy? See you in tournament. I'll punish you for it next time. Unfortunately for him, this time, that wasn't greedy at all what Rattata did. He got the links on time. He got the defense. And after that, it was kind of easy peasy for him.
Yeah, it's true. Well, game number 2 underway here. Taking a look at the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire. So our blue Protoss player playing for Team Synthex. This is GunGFuBanDa.
His opponents in the top right, in the reds, presenting good game gaming. It is Rattata.
So we were talking in the last series. You briefly mentioned the team logos in the bottom, and I'm a big fan of like minimal design, and this Synthex logo is really cool. I think it's brilliantly done.
Yeah,
I like the whole Spartan helmet.
Yeah, well done for sure. I think it's so nice, like all these little details being added on for sure. Like even like actually in game next to the starting building and stuff to be able to see that. I really like what they've done with all of this. But yeah, GunGFuBanDa with a more traditional build here. Gateway outside of the wall at the expansion. Did you know that GunGFuBanDa was once upon a time known for dancing his units a little too early as a celebration when he would win, or just doing it in general, but sometimes he did it too early when he thought he won the game and then he ended up losing.
Oh. What's the phrase? Oh, it's from Darkest Dungeon. Oh, I can't even think of it. It's like about I can't even think of it. Oh man, okay, gotta walk away from it. I'll think about it later.
It's not over until you hear the cowbells.
Or... Oh, there we go. I like that. I like that one. You brought it back for me. Thanks. Yeah, a lot more standard opening this time around. You're absolutely right. Cybercore into Nexus here. GunGFu does get the block at the natural, which I think, I mean, a long time ago, that used to be something that would just absolutely tilt players off the face of the planet. Now, not so much. I mean, you just get a little bit more used to running things out to that third base location. Wouldn't be surprised to see GunGFu try and drop a pylon there just to delay that further, but not going to be able to make that happen. So third base should be coming out. And it is going to be a Stargate opener this time around. 1 gate into Stargate.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, to be honest, from like the whole series, for GunGFu to get a few adepts out, try and shade those in, and then perhaps with an Oracle, fly in there, kill some more drones, force spores. That's really what PvZ is a lot about, usually as far as openers go. And I think he lost faith in any kind of like big aggression early on after game 1. Rattata, though, it's going to be for him to find again the perfect defense against this with the right amount of links, perfectly positioned. And he's already spreading creep around that third base, or I guess natural, that's on the third base location.
Well, second Oracle's going to make the harassment at least a point of contention here for Rattata. It is going to be an Oracle opening this time around. And we're so commonly seeing Void Rays in this current meta that an Oracle opening is refreshing and comfortable because it's something we're used to seeing. So additional gateway going to go down here. So we should, yeah, exactly, going to start seeing that third base being placed in. But Rattata's going to start scouting for that as well. He's got the lings out on the map. That is going to be intercepted, but he's going to let the shades finish here. Oh, they just shaded back to the third base. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, GunGFu really ready here for this. How do you like the cleaning bot here around the expansion of Rattata? He's on creep, but he's not cleaning anything. It's malfunctioning.
Yeah, come on. You're gonna block. You're gonna block the natural for like a split second, and you're not gonna do your job. Come on. What are you even here for?
Looks pretty cool, I think. Rattata with the somewhat early spores in the main and near the second base, but he leaves queens on the extra base here in the top left. That's pretty cool. Just having 3 queens, it means he doesn't have to get a spore there. And yeah, if the one overlord in the bottom left will scout the Stargate, he will confirm that that was there fully. And the Oracle's not able to find any damage. Very important not to overextend with them, but he might actually shade in those adepts and try to synergize them with the Oracles coming in.
Oh yeah, this is a little bit dangerous here. The Oracle's going to start working down on the Queen. One Queen's going to go down. The second Queen's going to get picked off as well. So that is going to eliminate a little bit of the coverage here at the third base location. Lynx get a nice surround here and do pick off. Great coverage at the natural here, and Rattata is going to be able to push that off. Only losing 2 drones for the exchange there ends up being a well, I guess he does lose a couple of Queens. So that ends up being an okay exchange, but he protects the mineral lines, which is good.
That was so well executed, I think, from both players, because GunGFuBanDa saved all of his oracles here. And let me tell you, it's very easy to lose them to queens and spores. Like, if that was me, all my 3 oracles would be dead, and I'd be tapping out already in that game. So great control from both players, great positioning. Rattata only losing 2 drones, that puts him on 57 workers to 56, but now is really the time. We see 10 in production right now, where he's going to start completely taking off with that, and we're about to find out where he wants to take his production here in a few moments. And we have a Spire. Yeah, I noticed he already had 6 extractors, so he has a lot of gas income.
Yeah, so getting into mutas here is kind of an interesting ploy. More than anything, it forces GunGFuBanDa into additional Stargate production that could limit the amount that's going to come into this ground army that is very, very strong. I mean, it's a very good composition right now. There's a lot of people finding some great success with that. And if you start to digging your heels into a lot of disruptor production, like it looks like GunFu's going to start getting into. Now, all of a sudden, you even get like 8-10 mutas to show up at your base, and you're having to drop down extra cannons. You're having to build extra stalkers, and that's a lot of money invested into units that aren't immortals and aren't disruptors.
Yeah, GunFu actually seeing the Spire. I'm super impressed with this, because I would have been so scared personally to like fly the oracles, deep behind enemy lines here against queens and spores. But he actually spotted the Spire here with the oracles, so he knows that mutas could be coming. He starts Phoenix production. He's getting charge. And he can start thinking on when exactly he wants to attack. Usually, like 130, 140 supply, you can start moving out. But you really have to be careful against any sort of counterattack that might happen. And sometimes you also are going to have to play this type of game where you're just basically only defending, because anytime you move out, you instantly get countered.
And here comes the muta count. 14 going to be on the menu. +1 flyer attack coming in as well. So Rattata wants to really commit into this. He's already got +1 melee about 3/4 of the way done. So Mutiling Bane going to be the composition of choice here. And he's got a great supply lead so far. 138 to 116. The 4th base really kicking in here, but the 5th base already halfway done. So he is really trying to capitalize on this moment here right as the map control swings into his favor.
Yeah, 1 cannon, 1 shield battery per worker line is usually the way. I only see 1 cannon in the expansion here for GunGFuBanDa, but he has the units around the 3rd base. And he's really going to rely on those Phoenixes to fly around and punish those Mutalisks. But, cancel on the 4th base here. That's a big deal. He was actually out of position. That Observer maybe not doing his job detecting the army coming. Lynx run by into the expansion. There's no Zealot in the wall. Oh no, GunGfu. That's going to be Lynx in the natural, perhaps some in the main. And he's going to get a lot of probe snipe potentially. Actually moves everything down there to help in defense.
There's a lot of chaos here for GunGFuBanDa. I mean, at 161 to 129, the Lings do get cleaned up in the natural, but the mutas have been allowed to deal a lot of harassment elsewhere on the map. Another pylon's going to go down. An additional Archon going to get picked off as well. I mean, it's not great for the Protoss player when you're seeing mutas being really aggressive against Phoenix and Archons and they're finding success.
All the Zealots on the ground, they might have charged, but they're like, we have no purpose. Disruptors against mass mutas. What are they even doing here? They're doing nothing. +1 never gonna finish because the Cybercore is gone, and GunGFuBanDa is in a world of trouble here. He has double Stargate Phoenix in the main, but He needs to be able to defend right now, and Rattata can just kind of fly away here, happy with the damage that he dealt. He's on 90 workers.
And there's corruptors in this mix as well. This is going from a worsening situation here for GunGFu. He is trying to recover here. He's getting a double Cybercore just to try and anchor things back down once again. But again, he needs units, and he needs them now. An additional cannon being brought in. Lings are going to try and just hang out here at the front, but GunGFu has enough of a location here where he can choke those Lings out, and Rattata can't just dive on in with those units. But again, all of this map control is allowing Rattata to take additional bases and just continue to spread his creep, and GunGFuBanDa can only sit back and watch right now.
Look at the supply. He's maxed out here. 10 minutes in, he's maxed out against 132 supply for GunGFuBanDa, who never got that +1. He had to remake Cybercore, he had to restart that. It feels like it's gonna finish in ages now. And Rattata just happy to, at this point, be losing units that he can replace. As long as he gets any sort of trades with them, he sent the Zealots across the map here. Did GunGFuBanDa. These get caught by Lings and cleaned up. I don't know how you're supposed to come back from this here, because Rattata just has the economy to make anything he wants from there.
I mean, all of the pieces are starting to come together for GunGFuBanDa, but it's just so too little too late. I mean, a Neon Pulse Crystal being researched right now, that would have been good a couple of minutes ago, but now the Corruptor count is high enough to help deal with some of the damage that these Phoenix are going to deal. But exactly kind of what I talked about earlier, now there's been so much investment into defending against the Mutaling Bane and now Corruptors that the ground army is just non-existent. There's no way to be able to slow down Rattata as he continues to overwhelm. And look at the Banelings, Todd. These are going to crash into so many buildings.
Oh my god. It's so funny too that he's about to start a Nexus there. Look at that probe in the bottom.
Oh no. Oh, the Banelings aren't even going to waste their time.
Guys, they're coming. Hurry up. Get ready. The main's being overrun at the same time. And those Phoenixes, I don't know that they can go anywhere, really. Corruptors chasing them down. Banelings, they see me rolling. They're hating.
Oh, 32 workers have gone down. These mutas are still dealing additional damage. All of the buildings. Look at how many Banelings are still there. GG is called. And Rattata just blows up his opponent's chances in this series.